Hello, quilty friends. It is Tuesday, and I am happy to be here. I have no idea what's going on with my lights. I have lights on everywhere, but the weather is drunk. Um, it was a gully washer this morning. I had to be out early picking up my car from service before my husband went to work, and coming home, the skies just opened, and then it was bright and sunshiny. And now we have tornado warnings. So I'll do my best to be here, but the weather again is drunk today. So let me hit the chat here. Dina, it is hot here. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let's see. The one thing we aren't is hot. It's 73 going to 75. It's a pretty mild day, except for the extreme weather. So I'm sorry it's hot. I hope your air conditioning is keeping up. And Cindy, you made it on time. Hello. Hi, Cindy. It's good to see you. I have a lot to tell you today. So let me start with I had a bit of an accident last week. I was in my sewing room and I tripped. Oops, sorry, dropping things. And by the way, this is a joke. I'm fine. But I am dropping things. I'm not hurt. The accident was silly. So I tripped in my sewing room and I fell into this box that was formerly full of 2.5-inch squares of pink fabric. It just happened on Thursday. I fell in here and now I have an empty box that can get thrown away. I'm glad my husband didn't take it down to recycling yet because I wanted to show you I did actually empty a box. So here's what happened. Heat index 107. Okay, that's gross. That's really gross. I'm sorry. Let's pray for your air conditioning to keep up. Let me find some pictures. Trying to cancel. Let me show some pictures here. So where is it? I downloaded everything, but then I restarted my computer and it all went away. Okay, so oops. Here's what happened. Let me share it with you. An empty box is exciting. Only quilters can understand this. Thank you for understanding. So, well, here is what happened. It was Thursday, and I was watching Lisa Bonjean at Stitch with Lisa Bonjean at Primitive Gatherings, her YouTube live, which is on Thursdays at 2:00 New York time, 1:00 Wisconsin time. And I saw this quilt in the background. Now, I will buy this pattern. I will own this. This is from her Naughty or Nice retreat that's going on right now or last week. And these squares are a little smaller than my 2.5-inch squares that I have cut for my color blocks. But I'm like, I can make that. So I did. Let's see. Can I change this? Let me stop sharing, pull up another picture. Where did it go? Okay, so I pulled out my 2.5-inch squares that look like this. And I have a lot of different colors. And I pick one from here, then one from here, then one from here, then one from here. And there is my little bobbin that I move every time I use a different color. So I made that quilt. Let me see if I can pull up that picture. No. Why is my computer being mean to me? Download. Here we go. So let me share this with you. So by Thursday night, Friday morning, I had this quilt done. I think it is 66 inches because this is 14 and 6 is 20, 40, 54, yeah, it's 66 inches square. So that's just a really nice giveaway size. And I will base that up and get that quilted. The fun I had was I put a Hello Kitty square in the middle of each of these 9 blocks because Hello Kitty deserves pride of placement. So do you blame me for jumping in and digging into my pink scraps? Now, I always keep a bolt of white fabric. So I have 20, I buy bolts at a time. So I always have the same white fabric if I ever get just a crazy idea like that, so I can make it happen. I have all the pre-cut squares. So that did not empty the box. It didn't. So yeah, I kept going. Because in the same video, let's pull up another picture. Lisa showed another quilt that she has coming out. This is her weekend quilt. And it is 9 patches, but it's a controlled 9 patch. It's the same center block and then 4 patches here and 4 patches in the corners. So, okay. I'm like, well, I still have pink blocks left. So what did I do? Let me come here. So I made 60 of these. And I have this hot pink as the center square. These are in 10s. And I went through more of those 2.5-inch squares. So I have 60 of these ready to go. And if I offset these, just straight set, offset with a background block, this will be 60 by 72 inches, also a great size for giving away. My husband keeps texting because he saw this on Thursday. And then Friday morning, he was like, I was asleep when he left for work. And he was like, have fun with the pink today, because he knows I'm living in pink. So that's happening. But I have a question for you, because I need to set it with a background. So let me go find the background. Okay, here we go. I think this will work. I'm used to working in Zoom, so this software is a little different. So I can take the pink and I can put the background with green or with yellow or with a cream print with a cream with peach print on it, with this wiggly stripe that's pinks and yellows, or just plain white. So I feel like I'm going to be like the eye doctor. Which is clearer? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? So I think the white is the boring choice. I wanted yellow, but I think the print is a little distracting on there. I'm an 80s girl, so I love the green. I love pink and green together, massive 80s sororities, all of it. That's just my, I love this, but not everyone likes pink and green together. I think this is like the classic choice, which is the peach on the white background. I think this is a lot. I just threw it out there. It might be a great binding, but I don't think this is the one. And that just looks really boring with the white. So let me come back to you and see if you have any opinions. Jeanette. Hi, Jeanette. I'm glad you're here. Jeanette, you said green. Okay. Let's see what number 3 was. 3 was the peach. Okay. Dina thinks peach. All right. I like the green. I think peach is the classic. I think those are my 2 favorites. Beth, you like the green. Hi, Beth. I'm glad to see you. Yeah, I love the green. I love pink and green, but not everyone does. Cindy, pink or green? Okay, the white's kind of boring, right? The peach, that peach print, it's a really ditzy little print in there. I think that is the white background, but a little pizzazz. I think the plain white is just flat. Now, the plain white looked great for the background of this quilt. I stand by it. I have 0 regrets. This is exactly what I wanted it to look like. Let me share that one. So the white on here, totally classic, love it. It's exactly what I wanted because there's maybe 50 different pink prints in here, and it just tied it all together with the white, really classic, really crisp, really clean. But with all of the pink going on together, don't really know. So let me stop and see what you're saying to me. See, Dina, green you like, but some wouldn't. Yeah. So this is going to be a giveaway quilt, like maybe to a children's charity. Maybe someone will pick it out of the pile as their favorite quilt ever. I think if I put the peach with it, it can just be a generic baby girl quilt because we're getting a lot of babies at church. A lot of babies. I had a new baby here in my studio. Mama had some time. Her kids were out of town. So it was just her in town with the baby. She's got a large family. So all the older kids were gone. And she's like, I'm bored. I want to come sew. So I got to sit in my clean chair that I cleaned off in my sewing room and hold like a 4-week-old baby for 6 hours while mama played in my sewing room. Oh, well, it was a rough day to take. Just cute little, not barely unfolded baby. We have another one at church. It's about 8 days older than that, so 5 weeks old. Got 2 more ready to pop. So a lot of baby quilts. And I love that because newborns, I can't keep up with my love of newborns. I only have 2 children. They each had a baby in the last year in their family. And it's hard to keep newborns when you need them every 4 weeks. To keep that newborn. And I would have to have 52 children committed to having 1 child a year to keep me in infants. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to go with the peach. But so that box I showed you, this box, it made quilt number 1. It's making quilt number 2. Oh, but wait, there's still more because I still have an entire baking tray filled with 3-inch stacks of squares in it that I keep moving around. And I'm now, let's see, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 color blocks in. And I probably have at least another 50 to make. And then I'll be able to make tons more baby quilts that I'll get to decide what the background is. So maybe I'll use the green as part of one of them, the yellow as part of another one. But I don't have anywhere to put the squares. So I have to finish them at least this far because I have room to put these somewhere. I have a box. I have a box that's this tall that has this many color blocks in it, but these will be easy to make into some giftable quilts. So that was my accident. I tripped and fell into pink, and I'm sewing my way out. I'm not sure. It's going to take a while. It's so cute. Conversations with my mom are always a little challenging, and she's like, "You don't usually like pink, do you?" I'm like, "Oh, I do. I really do." Sorry, my desk is a little crooked, and my computer keeps sliding off. I need a new desk. The wheels are broken on it because it's a little laptop cart. It's going ka-thunk, ka-thunk, ka-thunk because all the wheels are breaking. Like all the rubber bands are on the wheels, all dry rotted at the same time. So it's time for a new desk. But I will get to sew this into a quilt. I'll get to sew those color blocks into a quilt. And I'll have some pink quilts. Bring on the babies. Let me cross off things I've told you. So I told you my new pink quilt, what color background we talked about, my empty box we talked about. Okay. So this week I am here. I think the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be talking to you from my sister's house because I'm pretty much moving to Pittsburgh for the next month or most of a month to hang out near mom while my sister takes care of some other things like her life. So I will be doing some sewing. There is a yarn crawl in town while I'm there. So I'll be going to a bunch of different knitting stores and showing you some fun stuff. But I have a lot of prepackaged meals that I make and my freezer's stocked full of them, but I can't take a month's worth of food. No one has an empty freezer there that I can put the food in. So I had to come up with plan B. Hi, Joan. I'm glad you're here. So this is plan B. I am taking 2 books with me. This one is called One Pan, Two Plates, and this one is called Snacking. This book is responsible for about 20 pounds of my weight gain during COVID. These are snack cakes, like 8 by 8 inch snack cakes that mix in a bowl, no mixer, one pot, one pan. So I'm taking this with me to make dessert for mom, and I'm making all of these recipes for dinners that can all be cooked in one pan, which means my mini Instant Pot. So I'm taking my Instant Pot, this book, and then I have a tote bag that I've packed with groceries. So this is 3/4 of a cup of wild rice for one recipe. I have barley for another barley risotto recipe. I have lentils for a chicken or a sausage lentil cabbage skillet dinner. So I'm ready. I have a freezer full of portioned meats that I'll take with me, but that's a smaller amount than taking 17 full meals with me. So that's exciting challenge. I'll let you know if anything good comes out of there. I've cooked from this book before. I also have the what's it called? One pan, two plates vegetarian. And then I have one pot whole meal or one hot whole family. So it serves 4. This serves 2 because mom doesn't like leftovers. So anyway, I have to remember to put these back in my crate in the hallway of all of my food supplies because I didn't want to buy a whole bag of lentils, a whole bag of barley, a whole bag of rice when I have good supplies here. So I just packaged everything up. So check, I got that going on. I'll let you know if anything that's good that you have to get. So those are mom's meals. So I'll be around, but I'll be talking to you from my sister's kitchen for the next couple weeks. What else do I have going on? So I'm taking like the staples with me and the meats are portioned with me, but I will have to go to the store and I'm committed to the healthy food thing. I know that there's a lot of unhealthy foods out there. So I went out and got some really healthy foods because lettuce and broccoli and salads and all of those things right now, they're talking about being a health risk. But you know what's never been recalled? M&Ms. I buy these to put in cookies, but I'm on a new medication right now for just a week, but it is the most disgusting taking medicine. So I actually grabbed out my cookie baking M&Ms from I need a couple of these just to get the taste out of my mouth when I take that horrible, horrible pill. So that's my health food. I know everyone's talking about is the salad and whatever that little parasitic thing is that's going on. So I will be very careful cooking for mom and for me, but there might be M&M cookies in the way. Other things, I would be taking handwork with me. I don't know if I'm taking a machine or not. Lots of your faves. And yeah, candy, it's the safe choice. Chocolate has never let me down. It has not been recalled. It has not had listeria or E. coli or whatever this newest thing is. Chocolate is a consistently good friend. So I'm going to be taking some handwork with me. I have some handwork here. So I pulled this out. This is just a little scrappy thing I started making a long time ago. And I'm like, I should finish this. So I have this tiny little box that has all my little 1-inch circles to applique on my 2-inch squares. This is all scrap, 1.5-inch gray, 1.5-inch color, 1.5-inch pink, and 2.5-inch white, all pre-cut. So I have this tiny little box about the size of a cigar box that I'll take with me and I could sew on for weeks. Applique, that'll keep me busy. This has kept me busy from Primitive Gatherings. I finished my wool mat. I think this is called Forever USA. I was out at Primitive Gatherings for their red, white, and blue retreat at the end of June. And I didn't care what we were sewing on. It could have been Halloween projects. It could have been anything. This fit my calendar. Super excited to be there because the experience of being there is what I was looking for. Because I didn't know what project I was sewing when I signed up. I knew it was red, white, and blue, which was cool. But I didn't know what the projects were. that was one of the projects they gave us, and I did finish it. Not quite in time for 4th of July, but it's done. Some other handwork I'm doing. Let's see what else I have over here. I'm working on a sweater for my grandson, my number 4 grandson. This is called Storm Jr., and I have to call to make sure he still has his left arm before I put the time into making his left sleeve. I'm like, just in case something happens, don't want to work harder. But I've been teaching a lot of online classes lately, like 2 or 3 a week. And I was talking to my students because on the computer yesterday, because in the last 10 days, I've learned how to do a Turkish cast on for socks when you cast on at the toe. I've learned how to do a wrap and turn heel, which is the way to make your knitting go that way for the heel. And I might have been a little cussing in the car because I was knitting that on the way back from Pittsburgh last week. Right now, I'm spending just a lot of time there. My husband was driving, so it was okay that I was knitting. But I was in the middle of Pennsylvania. I'm reading the directions. They're not making sense. I'm a beginner, advanced beginner. And then I just learned this Italian cast off, which makes a really nice little stretchy cast off. Oh, and I did a super stretchy cast off on my sock. So I've done a lot of new things lately. And whenever I'm teaching, I teach a lot of computerized quilting on the computer. It's good for me as a teacher to remember what it's like to learn something new because it's frustrating and it makes me feel like I'm not so smart and what's wrong with me. And there's nothing wrong with us. This is just what learning new things feels like. So, if you're ever taking a class from me and you're wondering, oh, she must think I'm stupid. I'm like, nope, I think you're learning because I have felt less than intelligent. This sweater confused the heck out of me. This is a Danish pattern. And they told me to go watch the video on how to cast off at the end of the bottom and at the end of the sleeve. The video was not in English, so I'm listening to a video in Danish, watching this, and I did still get it. So, like me, you can do things that are new, even if they're a bit of a struggle. But this pattern confused me because when I started knitting here. And then I knit up. And I'm like, okay. And then, no, I started knitting here. I knit down and waited. And then I went back and picked up stitches here. I'm like, what? Because then you pick up stitches and you knit up and over the shoulder, knit down, and then you join and do the body. I'm like, I'm so confused. So, yeah, I know what it's like to learn new things. And it's good for our brains, I think, to learn new things. It's like we're building muscles. So I have that to finish. What else do I have? I didn't bring, I finished a sock in the car last week when I was driving home. Let's see, Judy, you were in my class on Friday. You did a fabulous job. Oh, thank you. But you still have struggles. That's what seam rippers are for. Yeah, Judy, it's new. Learning new things is hard. And again, I just learned how to do a new cast on for the toe. I learned how to do a new turning of the heel. I learned how to do a super stretchy cast off here. I was learning new things on that sweater. And as my husband's driving, and this good Baptist girl might be saying a few non-Baptist approved words in the car. It's like, this is so stupid. I already know how to knit socks. Why am I doing it this way? I know how to do it the way I know how to do it. My husband's like, well, why'd you try something new? I'm like, because I wanted to learn something new. And he's just giving me the little side eye in the car. I'm like, shut up. I'm learning something new because it's fun, darn it. So, yeah, learning can be frustrating. And I feel that. So to my students, I feel that. I'm learning new things too in other ways. We're not unintelligent. We can do this, and it's okay that it's hard. Hopefully, I'm able to make it a little easier for you. But Judy, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for following me over. So I have one sock, and then I have more yarn. This is supposed to make 2 identical socks, but I make short socks. So my socks are going to kind of be color wash and going to be similar. Like the next one will start at the blue and end in whatever color it ends up in. I don't know, because they're my socks and I can make them any way I want. What are my needles? Oh, well, there's the sock. I just did another Turkish cast on, I guess. Hopefully I know where the other needle is. So there we go. And last week, I told you that when I was in Pittsburgh, I had bought more yarn. So here's more sock yarn. I just didn't have it with me when I was doing the video. So this is IAY, which is Irish Artisan, I don't know. ARTISAN. I know how to read. So I read words, but I don't know how to pronounce them. So artisan yarn. So this will show up as a pair of socks sometimes. My husband was not with me. I went to the yarn store while he was with his parents and I was going to get dinner for my mom. And there happens to be a yarn store near the restaurant she wanted food from. Darn, I had to go buy yarn. But my husband took me to a yarn shop in Williamsburg, Virginia when we were on vacation there, and I picked up some sock yarn. And my husband looked me dead in the eye. This man that I've known since I was 11 and he was 13 years old. And he's looked at me and he said, "How many pairs of socks do you need?" Now, if you don't knit but you do quilt, which I'm guessing, it's like saying, "How many fat quarters do you need?" Or "How many quilts do you need?" I'm like, that's not a question we ask. We buy this with our hearts, not with any practicality. So sock yarn is like fat quarters in quilting. Sock yarn and knitting, fat quarters. And you just go into a store and you're like, "Oh, I didn't really say anything, grab me. I'm just going to grab some fun sock yarn." And this is hand-dyed Irish merino yarn, merino wool with some nylon in it for strength for socks. So I'm like, when my husband's like, "How many socks do you need?" It's the same as saying, "How many quilts do you need?" I'm like, who are you? How has this darkness been hiding inside of you? And how can I stay married to you? Let's see. And it's just like fat quarters. It is so like fat quarters. You just collect them. And then someday you might do something with them. Someday you might not. You just pet it. And it's pretty. And then I lay all my sock yarn out on my coffee table and I pick which ones are going to be next. And I was like, "Ooh, I have blue left over from my last socks and I have this new green, but what if I mix them together for my next socks?" So that's going on. So I showed you my wool mat. I showed you my 1-inch circle quilt. And yeah, I'm doing a lot of online classes. I'm doing some in-person classes at guilds, couple shops, and a lot of online classes for computer work and then some other types of classes. So keeping myself out of the bars. But I still owe you a newsletter because I've been doing other things like rocking a baby and then teaching a bunch of classes. So I have a new newsletter coming out once I get all the pieces done, editing new content and such. So look for that. That'll be coming out. Let's see. What a horrible thing to ask. Exactly. Exactly. Now, I know that a lot of people bash men. I have a fabulous man, and I will acknowledge that flat out. But there are times like divorce is not an option, but murder is definitely on the table at times. We've been together since I was 11, and I'm 57 years old. So I met him when I was 11, started dating when I was 15. So it's been a while. And less than 10 years ago, my husband, so it was pre-pandemic, but not that long ago, my husband had a boxed lunch from a conference at work, and he came home and he put a little bag of potato chips on the counter. And he was like, "Here, you can have these. I didn't eat those in my lunch." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Thank you." Me turn down potato chips? Never. So I ate the potato chips. And the next night he said, "How are the potato chips?" I'm like, "Well, they weren't Cape Cod chips, which are my favorite. But, they didn't set the world on fire, but they were good. Thank you for the chips." And I said, "What chips are your favorite?" "Cape Cod potato chips are my favorite." And he said, this man that I've shared a life with and born 2 children for, he said to me, "I don't actually like potato chips." Who are you? Where has this evil been hiding inside of you? And I don't think we can stay married. I mean, if you look at it one way, that's more potato chips for me. But if you look at it another way, we have such fundamentally different values. That's like me being a Steeler fan, being married to a Patriots fan, something like that. These are all jokes, folks, by the way. I like my pastor's a Patriots fan, and we just don't talk on Sunday afternoons or whatever. No, it's all cool. But and the reason I didn't know for 30 years of marriage that my husband didn't like potato chips, around the same time, we were at a family party and I was eating potato chips somewhere. And my son said to me, Mom, I didn't know you like potato chips. And I'm like, oh, potato chips are pretty much the world's most perfect food. And he was like, but I didn't think you liked them. We never had them in the house. And I'm like, no, we never have them in the house because every serving of potato chips, whether it's this big, the grocery store or Costco, those are all single serve bags. So I can't have them in the house, which is why I never realized my husband didn't like them. And my husband said, I don't get potato chips. It's just salty grease. And I'm like, nope, you get potato chips. It is salty grease or greasy salt, depending on how you look at it. That's exactly what it is. Same with French fries. Same concept. I'm like, oh, he just doesn't get it. But whatever. I guess I'll keep him around. Let's see. Dina, you love the 1-inch circle quilt. Thank you. I do too. Little inside information. I'm thinking this needs to become a coat. So I have a size in mind that I'm working toward. Right now, this is 44 inches wide and maybe 36, 38 inches tall. Once it gets to 40 inches wide, I'm going to turn it sideways and then make it taller because I'm just making yardage out of it just to sew a coat out of it. But I have a lot. I have a box that same size as this box filled with 1.5-inch squares that I can piece together for my 4 patches. I have a bag about this big full of gray, and I have a bag this big filled with pink. So I have plenty. It's just a matter of hand appliquing all of those circles. But it'll keep me out of the bars for a little while. Let's see. Dina, you've been married for 47 years. Happy anniversary. Trying to think. I'm doing math in my head. Can you see? This is my I'm doing math face. I've been married for 38 years. We've been together since 1985. So we've been together 41 years. And we got married in 1988. So is that 38 years I think I've been married? Something like that. It's just been forever. Let's see. Your husband is a farmer. When he says something to me, I say, I like you need another whatever. Yes. But again, after all those years, you just go, okay. Let's see. Yeah. Dina, a coat? Yeah. So there's a coat by Rachel Rossi. It is called the Cozy Comfort. I can see the edge of the pattern here, but I can't read the name of it. So Rachel Rossi pattern. It's a Cozy Cascade. It's a waterfall. So it's a big rectangle with sleeves in it. So it's going to have some really thin batting, but I think I need to make it out of flat fabric first before I cut into this labor intensive piece of fabric. So I'll make a couple coats. But that's the type of shaping I could get into. Now, I used to make ball gowns, but my shape is now I'm shaped like a barrel. People are like, oh, you want to get it fitted in the waist. Well, my waist is kind of like this. So I don't do a lot of fitted clothes, but I think I could do that. I think I could do a rectangle with sleeves. So we'll see about that. Jeanette, you were looking at a swing coat pattern this morning for our next quilt show. Great mind. Yes. Look at Rachel Rossi. I think it's called Cozy Cascade. That's the one I'm going to be working on. Again, my time is rather limited now because I spend so much time out of town with my mom at this season. And I figured you'd forgive me. You might not be happy that I'm not giving all the content, but you'd probably like me less as a person if I left my 87-year-old mom alone. So my sister and I have a deal where one of us is always in town. So if my sister travels, I got to go. That's the deal. Dina, you haven't killed him yet? You haven't, but I'm guessing you know where the knives are. because I have to remind my husband occasionally that I do know where we hide the knives. But I'm the hard one to take in the marriage, so anything I have to put up with from him is kind of silly. I'm the hard one to take, and I'm well aware of that. I married up in so many ways. He's a quilt husband, and he doesn't really like quilts, like because he doesn't care one way or the other, but he likes me, and so that works. Let's see. I was getting when my mom's like, "But you don't like pink," and I'm like, yeah. But conversations with mom are just like that sometimes at this season of life. So I think that's all I have for you right now. We haven't had a tornado yet, but we're under tornado watch and it's getting really dark. And the rain this morning, I wouldn't have been able to even hear you. It was so loud. And the splashback. So my deck is right there. You can kind of see it. The glass reflects into my sliding glass door, which shows you my deck is right there. The splashes from the water hitting the deck were coming 5 feet up the sliding glass door. It was raining so hard. But the last time we had that storm, we lost power. There were like some microbursts going along. So we'll see what today brings. Coming up on Saturday at Bits and Pieces, bnpquilts.com. Hold on, I'm trying to type a message. There we go. I am teaching an introduction to ProStitcher class if you're a computerized long arm quilter. ProStitcher is software that runs on Handy Quilter, Janome, Baby Lock, a couple others. I come at it from Handy Quilter, but I'm teaching that virtually through Bits and Pieces Saturday afternoon. At that same store, like you can call them if you can't find it online. At that same store, I'm teaching Monday how to do your side borders. So if you're working on a computer and you're trying to do borders around the quilt on a long arm, how do you do your sides? So I have that class coming next Monday, and then we have a few more coming up. I'll be there at the end of August in person for classes. So I've got that going on, more stuff happening, teaching in Pittsburgh. I just booked a couple things in Pittsburgh for 2027. I'll be teaching in Pittsburgh in November because I started talking to the quilt stores there. I'm like, hi, I move here 3 months a year. If you want a quilt teacher while I'm here. So I'm going to be teaching at the Quilting Needle in Glenshaw. And let me share that with you. So the Quilting Needle in Glenshaw, Pennsylvania, that's where I'm from. It's right halfway between my mom's house and my in-laws' house, so very conveniently located. And I'll be teaching 2 workshops there in November. So yeah, I've got some fun stuff coming up, and I have some fun ideas of more content to put online. I did just baste a new quilt and start quilting it. So not only do I have one quilt in the camera to edit, but I have another one halfway done. So a little slow on content with my calendaring right now, since it's hard to film when I'm not in my studio. I can take handwork to my sister's, but I don't have room to take the machines, the cutting board, the ironing board, the lights, the camera equipment, and all of that. So you'll get to see some handwork coming in the next couple weeks. And if you're in Pittsburgh, and you are a knitter, maybe I'll see you on the Steel Valley Yarn Crawl that I already have my passport for. It's a shop hop for knitters. So I just happened to be there for the entire 2 weeks of the 9-store thing. So I'm going to hit 9 stores all around the area. So maybe I'll catch you there. But thanks for spending some time with me today and listening to me ramble along about weird things in my life, most of them being pink. And I will see you next week from my sister's house, and then the following week from my sister's house, and the following week possibly still from my sister's house, and show you some handwork that I'm finishing up. I have some some wool appliques that I am taking with me. I'm taking this with me. I'm taking my knittings with me. So we'll see. Get some new stuff. So, Joan, I'll wave at you as I'm driving by because I'm constantly driving through the state of Pennsylvania. So I'll wave at you when I'm down on 81. But happy quilting, everyone. Take care of yourselves today. Take care of each other. And until I see you next week at 2:30 New York time, next Tuesday, happy quilting. Bye, everyone.